Good day, everyone. My name is Anastasia Sotnikova, and my co-author is Lyudmila Egorova. We want to present our paper, which is related to analysis of consumer preferences towards brands. We studied how young people choose sport shoes. Here you can see our photos, and here you can read our biographies. So let's start. Nowadays, lots of companies invest in increasing customer loyalty to their brands, as it is one of the key sources of monetization. This is relevant for both local firms and big players. However, the former face intense competitions and struggle to win customers' trust. In this research, we aim to explore the market of sports shoes as a bright example of big brands' domination and focused on youth as the audience most selective to brands. Our target was to reveal young people's preferences about sports shoes and determine the factors which affect their choice in order to make recommendations for brands that are not wide known. Particularly, the questions to answer were the following. How significant is the role of the brand? How does the price and other factors impact customers' decisions to buy it? And how do results differ by demographic characteristics? According to the scientific literature, there are two groups of methods for researching preferences. The first includes methods of revealed preferences. They are based on customers' real actions on the market, which can be tracked via databases. In turn, methods of stated preferences are based on surveys that are used when real data is not available. In this study, we use the latter, as we do not have the opportunity to obtain data from real companies, since this is confidential information. Among the methods of stated preferences, the discrete choice experiment, or DCE, is widely used. The idea is that we offer respondents a series of questions that are composed according to the same structure and simulate the situations of real choice. Let's look at the paper about analysis of preferences for casual shoes. Here is an example of one of 10 questions in the questionnaire. Respondents were asked to choose one of two models based on some shoe characteristics, attributes: cushioning, stability, shoe weight, price, usage imagery, and packaging design. Each of the attributes has a set of levels, or the values that it can take. Surveys in DCE follow the same principle. You can see an example from another article where brand preferences for luxury bags were explored. Here, in each question, respondents choose one of 4 options by columns, focusing on 3 attributes and their levels by rows. In our study, we had to replicate surveys like these to explore the factors behind consumer choice of sport shoes. As a result of the literature analysis and the focus group, we chose 5 attributes. Brand, it has 3 levels: well-known Western, well-known local, unknown. Price, up to $500, from $500 to $1,000, and more than $1,000. Availability of purchase, easy to purchase, or there are problems with product availability. Lifetime, under 2 years or more than 2 years. And design, classic or extraordinary. Respondents were asked 10 questions. In each of them, they had to choose one of 2 models of sports shoes or refuse to choose. These models were made up of various combinations of levels of those attributes that we discussed on the previous slide. The questionnaire also included questions about demographic characteristics. The survey was distributed online. The final sample includes 371 objects. Descriptive statistics are presented on the slide. Age is distributed from 16 to 23 years old. The audience is predominantly female. Since students participated in the survey, most of them have not completed their higher education, and most of them do not work currently. Almost half of the respondents state that their hometown is a capital, but there are also representatives of the regions. It is necessary to explain the graph that characterizes the financial situation of the family. Respondents were presented with specific statements which are encoded with numbers on the slide. Here, 1 is enough only for food and essential goods, and 5 is enough for everything, including real estate. There are no material problems. Then the data was converted to a long format. Then we estimated a logistic regression model. The results are shown on the slide. All performance characteristics of the sports shoes were indeed found to be statistically significant at any reasonable level of significance. In contrast, the control variables were not significant. This is quite obvious as the study focuses on a fairly homogeneous cohort of the population. The Rocawook value of the model is 71%, which indicates its fairly good quality. This slide shows the average marginal effects of the significant variables in the model, estimated for the entire sample. The most important for the consumer was the brand, then in descending order are the price, design, lifetime, and availability of the product. It is noticeable that for well-known Western brands, the average marginal effect is approximately 3 times greater than for well-known local brands. Interesting results can be observed by comparing residents of capitals and regions. It turns out that residents of the capitals are more willing to buy sport shoes from a well-known Western brand and more reluctantly a well-known local one. It can also be seen that residents of regions are more price sensitive than residents of capital cities. It is curious that for residents of the capitals, classic design, which can be combined with many styles, is not as important as for residents of the regions. It is also interesting to look at the differences between individuals with lower and higher income. The former are more willing to buy sports shoes from both a well-known Western and well-known local brand. Also, individuals with lower income are much more price sensitive. Talking about the conclusions, first we would say that Western brands are more 3 times more likely to be bought than local ones, which suggests that young people are still not ready to part with familiar brands. Nevertheless, it was possible to establish that if a local brand is well known, then its probability of getting a client is about 10% higher than that of an unknown brand, which is quite significant. Secondly, local manufacturers should actively develop their brands in the regions, since there is an audience that is more willing to buy their products than in capitals. And this difference is more than 2%. In terms of hundreds of thousands of customers and millions of dollars in revenue, this difference is quite noticeable. Thirdly, companies should expand their product line, adding more models with a classic design and taking care of the durability of these products. Such sports shoes will definitely be in demand. We have found that the fact that local brands are still losing heavily to Western ones is just a matter of time. Young people are ready to buy sports shoes from local manufacturers, which means they really have a chance to gain great popularity in the domestic market. The results of the study allow us to evaluate these opportunities in quantitative terms. To improve our research, it would be useful to collect a broader sample or even enlarge the number of cohorts, so to explore not only young people's preferences. What is more, it would be interesting to come up with non-trivial attributes which will help to discover unobvious behavioral patterns. Finally, it will be reasonable to estimate models regarding the panel structure of the data. So that is all for now. Thank you very much for your attention.